Hello, my name is J. Kishan Tayal, and I am from the partner marketing side of business here at VMwareBuy.com. In this video, we will see how to deploy usage meter appliance. For that, let me navigate to the lab and log into the vSphere as an administrator. So this is the lab environment where I will be deploying the usage meter appliance. So see here, I have a resource pool reserved for usage meter. So I will deploy the OVF template and then take you through the steps on the configuration side of things. So right click on the resource pool, select deploy OVF template. Over here you have two options. One is to deploy through the URL, the other one is through the local file. For this demonstration purpose, I will be using the URL method. So this is the URL of the location where we have centrally located or rather stored the usage meter OVF appliance template. Click next after you have provided the details. Give it a name and then select next. After which you have to select the reconfirm or select or change the resource pool should you need to. Click next. And then at this stage, it will validate the URL you have provided and check the details about the appliance. So this will take a couple of seconds and then give you the details to review. So in our case, it is vCloud Usage Meter Appliance version 4.8. And if we deploy this as a thin provision, it will occupy 3.1 GB of storage space. And if we deploy this as a thick provision, it will use 82.6 GB of storage space. Click next. Accept the end user license agreement. Click next. Select the data store where you want to locate this appliance files and then select the disk format type. So for this demonstration, I will be using thin provision. Click next. Select the network. In my case, I will be selecting VM network, which is configured for DHCP. Click next. Over here, if you see these three properties have invalid values, basically you have to provide the password for the root account and also provide the password for the default usage meter UI login account and also provide the password for the auditor account used at the time of troubleshooting. Once you have provided the password for these three accounts, click next, review the details and click on finish. Once you have clicked on finish, it will spin up a reset task and deploy the OVF template in the desired resource pool. So let's wait for a couple of minutes. Since the deployment of the OVF template is through the URL, that is basically over the network, it might take a couple of minutes for the task of deployment to complete. Now that the deployment task has completed, select the newly deployed usage meter appliance and power on the virtual machine manually. While the VM gets powered on and the operating system gets initialized and the OS gets an IP address through the DHCP network, if you look at the hardware details, it by default requires two vCPUs and 8 GB of memory, and it also provides you various other details about the virtual machine hardware. So let's wait for the OS to be initialized and for it to pick up an IP address through the DHCP, and then we will try to log into the UI portal of the usage meter. So if I click on the console, it will by default take me to the console page where I can log in from the root account. Let's go back to the vSphere portal and wait for the IP address which is now populated. I'll copy the IP address and paste it in a new browser and see if I'm able to connect to the appliance or not. I'm not yet able to connect to the appliance because the services take a couple of minutes to start. So let's wait for a couple of minutes and then try to log into the usage meter appliance. Now that the appliance is powered on and the services have initialized, I'm able to connect to the appliance. So let's try to log into it. This is the default login portal, and by default, the initial account with which you have to log in is usage meter. And this is the same account for which you have configured the password at the time of deployment. So I'll click login after I have provided the credentials, and you will be shown the welcome page where you have to basically configure and initialize the usage meter and register the usage meter. So as a part of deployment, the deployment process ends here. The next stage would be to initialize and register the usage meter appliance. So with this, we are toward the end of this deployment video. Thank you.